How's it going, everybody out there? Coach Mark here, and today what I'm going to be discussing is a question I get all the time when it comes to a new client. And it's typically, how do you lose belly fat? How can I lose this midsection? Well, we're going to get into that. You're not going to need much more than a pad and a pen today, or just listen along, take some notes if you'd like, and we're going to get started right now. All right, it's so funny because on here on YouTube, I see so many videos of people saying, do these exercises to burn belly fat. Eat this to burn belly fat. Do this, do that, and you'll burn belly fat. How to lose belly fat. Guess what? Those claims are false. Why? Because there's no such thing as spot reduction when it comes to burning off belly fat. However, there are forms of spot reduction, but it comes in the forms of surgery, like liposuction, right? Which is obviously not the safest route to go. And they have other forms of therapy that they use, like fat freezing, all this type of stuff, to burn off fat cells and do spot reduction. Whether or not that works, I'm not 100% sure. But I do know that if you're looking to exercise and burn off fat, it's going to burn off as a whole. Imagine your fat in your body is like a pile of ice cubes. If you put them in a room, you raise the temperature, the ice cubes are going to melt all at the same time, right? Exactly. Just like your belly fat. One ice cube is not going to melt before the other. That's just the way it goes. If one ice cube is bigger, it might take a little bit longer to melt off. Just like your body, usually the first place you gain fat is the last place you're going to lose the fat. So the foundation of weight loss is based off of one simple principle: caloric balance. And I'm sure you've heard this time and time again. I've said this time and time again. It's calories in versus calories out, which is supported by the energy balance model, which basically states that weight loss occurs when energy expenditures exceeds energy intake. Okay, so now that you know that, you say, okay, well, Coach Mark, how many calories do I need that I need to be functioning properly? And how much should I not eat to lose weight? So first we have to figure out what our BMR is, which is our basal metabolic rate. And that's basically the number of calories that your body needs to maintain basic physiological function at rest, right? And certain factors go into that, like your age, your sex, your weight, and muscle mass. And we're going to figure that out. I'm going to show you how to figure that out. And then you can basically factor in how much of a deficit that you want to be in to lose weight. Now, like I mentioned, to lose weight, you obviously want to reduce the amount of calories from what your maintenance is. So once you figure out your BMR, that's going to show you what your maintenance calories are. But you want to be in a reduced caloric diet to obviously lose weight. And you want to make sure that it's something that's sustainable, right? So a lot of people, they reduce the calories so much and they end up failing rather quickly because they're starving themselves, and that's not good. You want to reduce the calories anywhere from 250 calories, maybe all the way up to 700 calories. You don't really want to go too much more than that. You can push reducing 1,000 calories to try to lose 2 pounds per week. But remember, a pound of fat is 3,500 calories. So typically what you do is, let's say you reduce your daily caloric intake by 500 calories, meaning 500 times 7 is 3,500 calories. So at the end of the week, you should be losing 1 pound if you're taking that away from your maintenance calories. Okay, so we're going to show you how to do that properly. All right, so the first thing we want to do is pop open our laptop, open up our phone, and we're going to find our calories for the day. So I'm going to back off the screen so that you can follow along with me, and I'm going to show you the process of what you need to do in order to find your daily calories. All right, go to Google. Now, this is very simple. Just simply type in macro calculator. Yes, I know we're going for our daily caloric needs, but I like the breakdown that the macro calculator does give us. So type that in, click on where it says macro calculator, and this site will open up. Now, in this area here is where you're going to enter in those factors that we discussed earlier, such as your age, your gender, your height, your weight. Be honest here. Also, your activity, be very honest here, because these two are going to play a factor, a big factor, into what your daily caloric needs should be. And then, of course, your goal. Obviously, if it's to lose weight, you can possibly calculate up to a 2-pound weight loss per week. It might not calculate it depending on your activity level and your other factors, but you have the option to lose a half a pound, a pound, or up to 2 pounds per week. Or if you want to maintain or gain, you can find that out here. Once you figure that out, all you're going to do is simply hit calculate, and this will pop up. Now, don't be alarmed by all the numbers here. Like I said, I like the breakdown here of all the different macronutrients. So if you do want to get very specific, you can, but you're only going to focus on 2 areas here. Number 1, of course, being that food energy, which is basically your daily caloric needs. And then second is your protein. Another thing that's important to be mindful of is to consume a lot of foods that are rich in fiber, such as vegetables, fruits, legumes, and whole grains. And these can actually increase fullness and reduce the overall caloric intake. And of course, being in a caloric deficit is one way to lose weight for sure, but another way to help you speed up the process and kind of target more so fat would be to add in, yes, of course, some type of physical activity, right? If you didn't think I was going to mention that, you had another thing coming. But you do want to definitely add in some type of physical activity. You want to start with some aerobic exercises, and that can be anything consisting of walking, running, cycling. And ACSM, which is the American College of Sports Medicine, recommends at least 150 of moderate intensity per week. Okay, so not only is adding in the aerobic exercise activity important, but also you want to add in at least 2 to 3 days worth of strength training. Okay, so remember, the more lean muscle or lean tissue you build, the higher your BMR is going to be, which basically aids in a higher caloric burn. So that's not only going to help keep you lean by building some muscle, but it's going to help you burn off and target that fat rate. Okay, so you basically want to add in 2 to 3 days per week. Nothing crazy. You don't have to do 7 days per week. You don't even have to do 5 days per week. 2 to 3 days is all you need to get started with some type of strength training to incorporate that in your program. Another thing that's a little bit out of the box that might actually help aid towards more weight loss would be incorporating some type of behavioral strategies. And one of them, just off the top of my head, I could think of would be some type of mindful eating. And if you're not sure what that is, actually being mindful of what you're eating can actually prevent you from overeating, believe it or not. So mindful eating is really taking in every bite, savoring the flavors, chewing slowly, avoiding any distractions like the TV or your smartphone, or I say smartphone like I'm 90 years old, your cell phone, to basically separating everything and really focusing on what you're eating and consuming. And it might actually slow down the process of you eating, and you'll actually get fuller faster. So that might be something that could work. Try it. Another great tool to implement would be self-monitoring, or basically tracking, right? So now you have your caloric need for the day. Well, how do you know that you're getting the amount of calories that you're supposed to? You have to track it. And there's 2 forms of tracking it. And we're going to go over that shortly. But tracking it can not only help aid you accomplishing your goal, but will also increase awareness and accountability. So the first form of tracking you can use is a mobile app. Now there's a ton of them out there that you can use. MyFitnessPal was very big for a long time. I think it still is. Also another really great one is a chronometer or chronometer or something like that. Basically along the same. I don't use a mobile app. I'm going to go over basically what I use here shortly. But mobile apps are great because it helps you keep track of your food. You can scan things with it. You can have a food library of your own so that it makes it easier for you to keep track of basically how many calories you're consuming per day, and you can reference it as you go. And if you're like me and you like things to be a lot more on the simple side of things, not that I'm not tech savvy, I just feel like using a mobile app, for me, I have to spend a little bit more time entering food into the mobile app and scanning things. Me, I'm very simplistic. I like to use a food diary. And basically my food diary is, if you watch some of my other videos, is literally just a spiral notebook that I keep on my counter. There's different there's different programs that you can, enter your food diary in. It's almost like a spreadsheet, if you can see that in the video here. But I'm very simplistic. I mean, literally on my food diary or my spiral notebook, I literally will write B and the calories for breakfast, S for snack and calories for whatever the snack is, L and calories for whatever my lunch is. So, I mean, you get the point. So it's that simple for me. That just helps me be accountable for what I'm eating throughout the day, so that I know at the end of the day, whatever I bring with me, I have X amount of calories that I can consume to get towards my target goal. Most importantly, when it comes down to it at the end, you just want to start forming some good sustainable habits so that you can be successful in accomplishing your goal, especially when it comes to weight loss, because weight loss can be very challenging. So making gradual changes, little micro goals towards your overall goal, making it sustainable will be the best way to go about doing it. And then, of course, another good factor that you might want to think of is basically having a good support system. Now, a support system, or engaging with a support system or group, whether in person or online, can actually provide motivation and accountability. And social support, let me tell you, is a key factor in maintaining weight loss. All right, guys, that was it. So if you took anything away from that video, the number one fact is that you cannot spot reduce fat, unless, of course, you're going in for surgery or something like that, or one of those weird topical procedures that might not even work and you're just going to throw away your money. Remember, this is a process. Take your time with it. It will work if you implement everything that I talked about. And some people store fat in different areas. If you're somebody who stores it, let's say more so in the midsection, that's probably going to be the last place that you're going to see the loss from your body. But it's okay. Remember, it's a process. Implement everything I said. It'll take a little bit of time, but I guarantee all the fat will burn off if you put yourself in a caloric deficit. Definitely incorporate some aerobic exercise and strength training, and you will be fine. Trust me, it will work. All right. So if you like videos like this, go ahead and do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you on the next one.